Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls over the course of 23 seasons in the NFL and is widely considered the greatest quarterback of all time. But what if he never decided to play football? How different would the NFL look if Brady never touched a field? The first significant impact occurs all the way back in the 2001 season. Without Tom Brady to replace Drew Bledsoe, the Patriots struggle and end up missing the playoffs. As the playoffs unfolded, a new matchup emerged for Super Bowl 36. Tom Brady and the Patriots shocked the world by defeating the St. Louis Rams in a 20-17 thriller, thanks to Brady's poise and Adam Vinatieri's clutch field goal. Without Brady, the AFC is now represented by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Led by head coach Bill Cowher and quarterback Cordell Stewart, the Steelers were a defensive powerhouse in 2001, allowing just 13.3 points per game. Pittsburgh's defense featured stars like Joey Porter, Jason Gilden, and Kimo von Olfen, who excelled in pressuring quarterbacks and forcing turnovers. On offense, however, the Steelers were far less potent, ranking 20th in the league, with Cordell Stewart known more for his dual threat capabilities than for his consistent passing. The Rams, led by Kurt Warner and their high-octane offense, were the polar opposites. Known as the greatest show on turf, St. Louis led the NFL in scoring with 31.4 points per game and amassed an incredible 6,690 total yards. It was no wonder, too, with Warner throwing to elite receivers like Isaac Bruce and Troy Holt, and future Hall of Fame running back Marshall Faulk. The Rams are an offensive juggernaut that could strike quickly and anywhere from on the field. The Rams' offensive firepower overwhelms Pittsburgh's defense. While the Steelers could pressure Warner and potentially slow him down early, their offense wouldn't be able to keep up with the Rams' relentless scoring, especially if forced into a shootout where Pittsburgh's conservative offense couldn't answer back. Warner winning his second Super Bowl MVP, likely throwing for over 300 yards and multiple touchdowns against Pittsburgh's defense. The following season, Bledsoe would stick with the Patriots and never be traded to Buffalo. However, with Bledsoe throwing 4 less touchdowns than Brady in 2002, it's unlikely that his play would actually get the Patriots into the playoffs. The next major ripple caused by Brady never playing occurs the next season and results in a dramatically different outcome. In Super Bowl 38, Tom Brady led the Patriots to a 32-29 win over the Carolina Panthers, with Adam Vinatieri once again hitting a game-winning field goal. But without Brady, the 2003 AFC would have been dominated by the Indianapolis Colts, led by co-MVP Peyton Manning. Manning had developed into one of the most cerebral quarterbacks in the league, commanding an offense that ranked second in the NFL, averaging 27.9 points per game. With Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and Dallas Clark forming one of the league's most dangerous receiving corps, the Colts were a well-rounded offensive machine. Manning's precision passing and ability to read defenses gave him the edge over most opponents. On the other side, the Carolina Panthers, led by quarterback Jake Delhomme and running back Stephen Davis, were a scrappy team that relied on their stout defense. Ranking 10th in points, allowing 19 per game, the Panthers thrived on their ability to create turnovers and grind out victories with their physical style of play. Delhomme wasn't flashy, but he was capable of big plays, as evident by his performance in the original Super Bowl, throwing for 323 yards and 3 touchdowns. While Carolina's defense was formidable, they struggled to contain Peyton Manning and the Colts offense. The Panthers' secondary wasn't equipped to handle the Colts' wide receiver duo of Harrison and Wayne, and Manning's ability to exploit mismatches puts Carolina's defense on its heels. On the other side of the ball, Carolina's offense was solid and the Colts' defense was nothing compared to the 2003 Patriots. But Manning and the Colts are able to outpace the Panthers in a high-scoring affair, ultimately overwhelming the Panthers' defense, giving Manning his first Super Bowl win 4 years earlier to when it actually occurred. He would also take home the MVP honors for his ability to pick apart Carolina's defense, likely throwing for over 300 yards. His command of the game and methodical distribution of the ball would be the key to the Colts' victory. In the following season, the Colts returned to the AFC Championship without the Patriots there to defeat them in the divisional round. But they end up losing in a close AFC game, preventing them from achieving back-to-back Super Bowls. In reality, in Super Bowl 39, Tom Brady and the Patriots defeated Donovan McNabb and the Philadelphia Eagles 24-21. Without Brady, the 15-1 Pittsburgh Steelers, led by rookie quarterback Ben Roethlisberger and the league's best defense, take their place. Pittsburgh's defense allowed just 15.7 points per game, with stars like Joey Porter, James Furrier, and Troy Polamalu forming the backbone of a unit that could shut down opposing offenses. Roethlisberger, though only a rookie, had shown poise throughout the season, but his inexperience would have been a key factor in this matchup. The Eagles were led by McNabb and star receiver Terrell Owens, and had had the league's second best defense. Despite Owens battling an injury from late in the season, he returned for the Super Bowl and had a dominant performance in the original matchup. The Eagles' offense would have been too much for Pittsburgh's defense to handle, especially considering Roethlisberger's inexperience. Philadelphia's defense pressures the rookie quarterback into mistakes, limiting Pittsburgh's scoring opportunities. With McNabb able to extend plays and Owens' big play potential could have been the deciding factor for the Eagles. Owens ends up taking home the MVP for his game-breaking performance, which in reality most likely would have occurred if the Eagles had bested the Patriots. Not only that, but the performance is even more memorable considering Owens played on a broken leg. In 2007, with no Brady throwing for 50 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions, the MVP competition came down to 2 players. Tony Romo and Peyton Manning both led their respective teams to 13-3 records while throwing for over 4,000 yards each. Romo threw for 36 touchdowns and 19 interceptions to Manning's 31 touchdowns and only 14 interceptions. Let me know in the comments below who you think deserves it more. In the original Super Bowl 42, the New York Giants shocked the world by ending the Patriots' perfect season with a 17-14 victory. However, without Brady, the San Diego Chargers, led by Philip Rivers, represent the AFC. The Chargers, featuring former MVP LaDainian Tomlinson, had a well-rounded team with the league's 5th-ranked offense and defense. Rivers, Tomlinson, and Antonio Gates formed the core Eagles' Poe offensive attack, while Sean Merriman and the Chargers' defense ranked among the best at pressuring opposing quarterbacks and forcing turnovers. The Giants, led by Eli Manning, relied heavily on their defense, particularly their ferocious pass rush, which featured Michael Strahan, O.C. Umenyiora, and Justin Tuck. The Giants' ability to generate pressure without blitzing was a key to their upset over the Patriots, and it would play a similar role in the new matchup. Their pass rush had frustrated Brady in the original game and wreaked similar havoc on Philip Rivers. San Diego's reliance on Tomlinson and short passing would have been stifled by New York's defensive front, while Rivers struggles to find a rhythm under constant pressure. The Giants' ability to control the line of scrimmage ultimately neutralizes San Diego's offensive weapons. Eli Manning most likely earning the MVP for his play as he did against the New England Patriots. However, Michael Strahan may have also influenced the game enough to earn himself the award. In 2010, Brady once again won the MVP, throwing for 3,900 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. The player that I believe replaces Brady as the MVP ends up being Matt Ryan. Ryan led the Falcons to a 13-3 record in 2010, throwing for 3,705 yards with 28 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Though I'm sure many could make a case for Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers, both leading their teams to 10-win seasons. In the next season, Brady and the Patriots were able to reach the Super Bowl on the grace of Ravens kicker Billy Cundiff's missed kick. However, for a majority of the game, the Ravens outplayed the Patriots, making it unlikely that any other team would have stood in their way of reaching Super Bowl 46. The New York Giants once again defeated the Patriots 21-17. But in a world without Brady, the Baltimore Ravens, led by Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, represented the AFC. The Ravens had one of the best defenses in the league, allowing just 16.6 points per game, and their legendary defense was filled with future Hall of Famers. While the Ravens' offense, led by Joe Flacco and running back Ray Rice, was efficient, it was the defense that defined Baltimore. The Giants, still with Eli Manning, had a balanced offense and a defense that could create pressure with just 4. However, New York's defense had a vulnerability at times, ranking 25th in points allowed during the regular season, though their defense played significantly better in the postseason. Baltimore's defense would have been too much for the Giants to overcome. The Ravens' ability to shut down New York's run game and create turnovers limits Eli Manning's effectiveness. On offense, Ray Rice's ability to grind out yards and control the clock wears down New York's defense, allowing the Ravens to control the tempo of the game and ultimately secure the victory. Ray Lewis ends up winning the MVP for his dominant performance, making key tackles. His ability to rally the team in crucial moments would have been the defining factor for Baltimore. In this reality, Joe Flacco becomes a 2-time Super Bowl champion the following year and puts to rest the critics that thought he was not elite. In Super Bowl 49, Tom Brady and the Patriots defeated the Seahawks 28-24 in a thrilling game, all highlighted by Malcolm Butler's last-second interception. Without Brady, the Indianapolis Colts, led by Andrew Luck, take New England's place. The Colts had one of the league's top offenses, ranked 3rd in scoring with 28.6 points per game thanks to Luck's breakout season. Luck threw for 4,761 yards and 40 touchdowns, leading the Colts to the AFC Championship in the real timeline before being overwhelmed by by the Patriots. Indianapolis's defense was their weak point, ranked 19th in points allowed, and this presented a significant problem against the 2016 Seahawks. The Seahawks were the defending champions and a well-rounded team with the NFL's top defense. The Legion of Boom was led by Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor, who had developed a reputation of shutting down the most prolific offenses in the league. On the other side of the ball, Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch formed a dynamic duo, with Lynch powering through defenses and Wilson extending plays with his legs and accuracy. They were a formidable foe. The Seahawks' elite defense would have been far too much for the Colts offense to handle. While Luck was one of the brightest young quarterbacks in the league, he faces relentless pressure and is forced to make mistakes. The Colts defense struggles to contain the Seahawks' balanced attack, with Marshawn Lynch grinding out yards and Russell Wilson making key throws to keep plays alive. Even if the game was tightly contested, I believe we live in the only reality where Pete Carroll decided to throw the ball from the 1-yard line instead of allowing Marshawn Lynch to punch it in. For his efforts, Lynch earns the MVP for his performance, easily rushing for over 100 yards and a second touchdown. We then jump forward to one of Brady's most famous moments, Super Bowl 51. Remembered for the Patriots' remarkable comeback from a 28-3 deficit to defeat the Atlanta Falcons in overtime. Without Brady, the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Roethlisberger, would have advanced to the Super Bowl. The Steelers boasted one of the league's best offenses, featuring wide receiver Antonio Brown and running back Le'Veon Bell. Pittsburgh's offense ranked 7th in total yards and 10th in scoring, while their defense was solid, ranked 10th in points allowed. The combination of a potent passing game and versatile run game made them one of the toughest teams and the favorite to take the AFC Championship. The Atlanta Falcons, led by now 2-time NFL MVP Matt Ryan, had the NFL's top offense, averaging over 30 points per game. Julio Jones is Ryan's top target, and they would shred defenses throughout the season. However, Atlanta's defense was less remarkable, ranked 25th in points allowed, averaging 25 points per game, which left them vulnerable in shootouts. The game ends up being a high-scoring affair, as even against the top-ranked defense in New England, the Falcons were able to score 28 points. Ryan was operating at the highest level, and with Julio Jones commanding attention from the defense, the Falcons' offense would be nearly impossible to stop. Even with Roethlisberger, Brown, and Bell, Pittsburgh's offense struggles to keep pace with Atlanta's. The Falcons' ability to score quick and often could have been the deciding factor, putting pressure on the Steelers' offense to keep up. Yet another key factor in the Falcons prevail. Kyle Shanahan's inability to win a Super Bowl takes over late in the game. In a thrilling victory, the Steelers make a comeback and secure Ben Roethlisberger's 3rd Super Bowl championship and his first MVP. For Brady's MVP in 2017, there seems to be one clear replacement. Todd Gurley accounted for 18 total touchdowns and over 2,000 all-purpose yards in 2017. Gurley was a force, leading the Rams to a divisional title with his dual-threat abilities as a runner and a receiver, though he still falls off the face of the earth just a few seasons later. Later that year, in the original Super Bowl 52, Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles pulled off a 41-33 victory over the Patriots, with Foles earning MVP honors for his performance. Without Brady, the Jacksonville Jaguars, led by their elite defense, would have advanced to the Super Bowl, having already bested the second-best team in the AFC, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jacksonville finished the 2017 season 10-6, winning the AFC South, and relied heavily on their second-ranked defense. Saxonville's defense, led by Jalen Ramsey, Calais Campbell, and AJ Boy, was known for pressuring quarterbacks and forcing turnovers. However, Jacksonville's offense was led by an inconsistent Blake Bortles, though rookie running back Leonard Fournette added a spark to the offense with his physical play. The Eagles were led by backup quarterback Nick Foles after Carson Wentz's injury. Were one of the most balanced teams in the league. Philly's offense ranked 3rd in scoring, while their defense, led by Fletcher Cox, Malcolm Jenkins, and Brandon Graham, ranked 4th in points allowed. Foles had proven his ability to perform under pressure, especially in the NFC Championship game, where he dismantled the Vikings' top-ranked defense. While Jacksonville's pass rush was formidable, Philadelphia's offensive line, one of the best in the league, is able to hold up long enough for Foles to make key throws. On the other side, the Eagles' defense would have put consistent pressure on Bortles, forcing him into mistakes and limiting all scoring opportunities. Foles retains his MVP title with his play throughout the game. His ability to lead the offense against Jacksonville's defense is the key to victory for them. 1 year later, Brady found himself in Super Bowl 53 facing off with the Los Angeles Rams. In a very forgettable defensive battle, the Patriots defeated the Rams 13-3. Without Brady though, the Kansas City Chiefs, led by MVP Patrick Mahomes, would have reached the Super Bowl in his first year as a starter. The Chiefs had the NFL's most explosive offense, averaging 35.3 points per game, with Mahomes throwing for over 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. Kansas City's offense, featuring Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and running back Damian Williams, was nearly unstoppable, though their defense ranked 24th in points allowed, which was a significant weakness. The Los Angeles Rams were led by Jared Goff and star running back Todd Gurley, who had the second best offense in the league. The Rams defense, featuring Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh, was capable of creating pressure and disrupting all offenses, but their secondary was vulnerable at times. The Chiefs and Rams had met earlier this season in one of the greatest regular season games of all time. In this incredible game, the Rams narrowly defeated the Chiefs in a 54-51 shootout victory. In what would likely be another offensive shootout, Mahomes' ability to improvise is a key factor for the Chiefs. The Rams defense, while strong up front, struggles to contain Mahomes' deep passing, especially with Tyreek Hill's speed. While Goff and Gurley could put up points, Mahomes' brilliance and Kansas City's ability to score rapidly ends up being too much for the Rams. Mahomes likely earns his first Super Bowl MVP, throwing for over 300 yards and multiple touchdowns. With this victory, he actually becomes the youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl, narrowly surpassing Ben Roethlisberger by just a few months. We then need to move forward 2 years to the next major impact of Brady's absence. In the original Super Bowl 55, Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers dismantled the Chiefs 31-9, with Brady earning his 5th MVP. Without Brady, the Green Bay Packers, led by the current MVP Aaron Rodgers, would have advanced to the Super Bowl. The Packers had the NFL's top scoring offense, and with Rodgers throwing for 48 touchdowns and just 5 interceptions. Green Bay's offense was built around Rodgers' connection with Davante Adams, one of the league's top playmakers, and though their defense was inconsistent, it was opportunistic. The Chiefs, led by Mahomes, were still one of the most dangerous teams, but their offensive line had been decimated by injuries, which was a major issue in the original game. Kansas City still had all the weapons they needed, but their offensive line was their Achilles heel. Green Bay's offensive line does a better job protecting Rodgers than Kansas City's batter line does for Mahomes. While the Chiefs' offense could still put up points, Rodgers and Davante Adams are able to keep pace. Meanwhile, the Packers' defense would generate enough pressure to limit Mahomes, similar to how Tampa did in their original game. Rodgers earns not only his 2nd Super Bowl title, but 2nd Super Bowl MVP. He's calm under pressure, and his ability to extend plays ends up being a key for them to win. Without Brady, not only is the history of Super Bowls dramatically different, but the NFL's record books would change as well. One of the most significant changes would be at the top of the all-time passing records, where Drew Brees now holds the crown as the NFL's top passer. Brady had surpassed Brees in career passing yards and touchdowns after Brees' retirement. However, without Brady in the picture, it's now Drew Brees who reigns supreme. Brees retired after the 2020 season with an astonishing 80,358 career passing yards and 571 passing touchdowns. At the time, he was the NFL's all-time leader in both categories, but Brady would play into his mid-40s and surpass him. However, he now sits alone atop the NFL's most hallowed records. Let me know in the comments below if you think I missed any significant moments that would be changed without Brady.